Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Preeti Kaur. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Indian Space Research Organization's third small satellite launch vehicle puts Earth observation satellite in required orbit. Development phase of SSLV over. ISRO to start transfer of technology to private sector for commercial production. Prime Minister Narendra Modi hosts the Indian Olympics contingent from the Paris Games, lauds the dedication of the players, says performance in Paris will inspire generations of sportspersons. US claims mediators had constructive day of discussions as Gaza ceasefire talks extend for another day. British and French foreign ministers to travel to Israel and Palestine to urge de-escalation. Worst fears come true as Sweden reports first case of MPox strain outside Africa amid global health emergency. Vaccine group Gavi mobilizes $500 million for the shots. And Paetongtarn Shinawatra elected as new Thailand Prime Minister. Good news coming in from India's space sector. ISRO launched its third and final developmental mission of the small satellite launch vehicle's EOS-08 Earth observation satellite. The small vehicle, capable of carrying only up to 500 kilograms to the space, was developed by ISRO with the aim of commercializing it. The vehicle is just 2 meters in diameter and 34 meters long. It uses 3 solid fuel-based stages and a final liquid fuel-based stage to correct the velocity for placing small and micro satellites in orbit. Globally, there is a growing demand for small launch vehicles that can be quickly assembled on demand to launch scores of small and micro satellites to be placed in low Earth orbit. The primary objectives of the EOS-08 mission include designing and developing a micro satellite, creating payload instruments compatible with a micro satellite bus, and incorporating new technologies required for future operational satellites. Now, this mission follows the second successful launch of the second test flight of the small satellite launch vehicle in February 2023. ISRO Chief Dr. S. Somnath congratulated the team for SSLV success. He announced that the development process of SSLV has reached conclusion and the technology will be transferred to private sector.
The third development flight of SSLV D3 with the EOS-08 satellite has been successfully accomplished. The rocket has placed the spacecraft in the very precise orbit as planned. I find that there are no deviations in the injection conditions. The final orbit, of course, will be known after tracking, but the current indication is that everything is perfect. The EOS-08 satellite as well as SR-0 satellite also has been injected after the maneuvers. And congratulations to the SSLV D3 team, the project team. With this third development flight of SSLV, we can declare the development process of SSLV is completed. And congratulations now. So we are on the process of transfer of the technology of SSLV to industries and for serial production and launches of SSLV in a commercial basis. So it's a great beginning for the rocket, the small satellite launch vehicle.
The nation paid homage to former Prime Minister and Bharat Ratna Atal Bihari Vajpayee on his death anniversary on Friday. President Draupadi Murmu, Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar and Prime Minister Narendra Modi paid floral tributes to former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee at Sadaiv Atal. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh and Speaker of the lower house of Parliament Om Birla were among the prominent leaders who also paid their tributes. A prayer meeting was organized at the Samadhi of Atal Bihari Vajpayee. A widely respected politician, acknowledged as among the finest orators, Atal Bihari Vajpayee played a crucial role in the history of Indian politics. Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacted with Indian Olympic contingent in New Delhi. Addressing the players, Prime Minister Modi lauded the Olympians for their performance and making the Indian flag fly high at the Paris Olympics. The athletes were totally excited to meet and interact with Prime Minister. Let's listen in.
Vinesh, पहली ऐसी भारतीय बनी जो कुश्ती में फाइनल तक पहुंची। ये भी हमारे लिए बड़ा गर्व का विषय है। ओलंपिक्स में 7 शूटिंग इवेंट्स में इंडियन शूटर्स फाइनल्स में पहुंचे और ये भी पहली बार हुआ है। इसी तरह तीरंदाजी में धीरज और अंकिता पदक के लिए खेलने वाले पहले भारतीय तीरंदाजी बने और हमारा लक्ष्य सेन, आपके मैच ने तो पूरे देश का जोश बढ़ा दिया है। हमारे लक्ष्य भी ओलंपिक में सेमीफाइनल तक पहुंचने वाले एकमात्र पुरुष बैडमिंटन खिलाड़ी बने हैं। हमारे अविनाश शावले, इसने स्टीपल चेज के फाइनल में क्वालिफाई किया। इस फॉर्मेट में ये भी फर्स्ट टाइम रहा। तो आज भारत अपने यहाँ वर्ल्ड क्लास स्पोर्ट्स इकोसिस्टम डेवलप करने की प्राथमिकता दे रहा है। ग्रासरूट से आने वाले खिलाड़ियों को उनको तराशना ये बहुत जरूरी है। हमने गांव-गांव, शहर से युवा प्रतिभाओं को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए खेलो इंडिया मुहिम शुरू की और मुझे खुशी है कि खेलो इंडिया से निकले 28 खिलाड़ी इस ओलंपिक समूह का हिस्सा बने।
The Deputy Secretary of State for Management and Resources, Richard R. Verma, will lead U.S. delegation to Nepal and India to advance and support a prosperous, secure and resilient future for both the countries. During his visit to India from August 17th, the Deputy Secretary will meet with senior government officials, climate leaders and aerospace academics and industry representatives. In order to boost the US-India partnership further, discussions will be held on a range of issues including economic development, clean energy and climate action and STEM education. He will be joined in India by Senior Advisor to the President for International Climate Policy, John Podesta, and Deputy Secretary of the US Department of Energy, David Tuck. While in Nepal, the delegation will meet with senior government officials, development professionals, and business leaders to discuss shared priorities in economic development, women's empowerment, energy, and people-to-people ties. Amid the ongoing protests in Kolkata over the rape murder of a trainee doctor at RG Kar Medical College, Delhi Medical Association has decided to join Indian Medical Association its nationwide strike on August 17th, starting at 6 a.m. IST for 24 hours. All clinics, nursing homes will be closed. Diagnostic centers will also remain closed, including emergency services. The Resident Doctors Association across Delhi will be holding a joint protest march on August 16th in the national capital from 2 p.m. IST. On Thursday, some people posing as protesters entered the hospital, vandalizing the emergency department, nursing station and medicine store, while also damaging CCTV cameras and ransacking a stage where junior doctors had been demonstrating since August 9th. Several people have been arrested in connection with the vandalism incident. Further, as part of the investigation, several suspects in the incident were taken to the CBI office for interrogation, including the newly appointed principal of RG Kar Medical College on Thursday. All right, let's get you weather updates now. The Indian Meteorological Department in its latest forecast issued a rain warning for multiple states for this week, including Delhi, Kerala, Odisha, Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand. The weather agency predicted light to moderate rainfall accompanied by thunderstorms that will continue in Delhi and NCR regions till August 21st. The IMD also predicted heavy rainfall in parts of Kerala and sounded an orange alert in 2 districts, that is Wayanad and Kozhikode, for Friday. Also, a yellow alert has been issued for the remaining 12 districts of Kerala. Due to a cyclonic circulation over the southeast Arabian Sea and South Kerala coast, warning has been issued against venturing into the sea for fishing activities in Kerala, Lakshadweep, Karnataka coastal region till August 19th, citing chances of strong winds and bad weather conditions. In northwest India, the Met Department has predicted heavy rainfall over Jammu and Kashmir and West Rajasthan till Saturday. As far as West and Central India are concerned, heavy to very heavy rainfall is likely in parts of Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh during the week. Summer annuals of iconic Amrit Udyan opened for public from Friday at Rashtrapati Bhavan or President's House in India's national capital, Delhi. Visitors can witness the aesthetic garden till September 15th of this year. The garden, now expanded to cover 15 acres, will be a landscaping marvels showcasing colliers, celosia, tuberose and many other rare seasonal flowers in full glory. The key attraction will be the new beautiful setups. Let's get you updates on Gaza conflict now. Ceasefire and hostage talks are ongoing in Doha as key mediators try and get Israel and Hamas to finally come to an agreement after many failed rounds of talks. There is hope that if they can secure a deal, it could limit or deter a promised Iranian attack on Israel after the assassination of the head of Hamas's political bureau. DD India's Sarah Coates has the latest on this.
Well, according to the White House, Thursday's hostage and ceasefire talks got off to a promising start. They are expected to pick up once again today. Now, while there's no direct presence of Hamas at the table, Qatar has reportedly assured the US that it is being represented, with the Qataris saying that they're really trying to do everything that they can to see a ceasefire come into play. Now, we can tell you that, of course, the CIA Director Bill Burns, as well as Qatar's Prime Minister, Egypt's spy chief, the Israeli delegation led by the Shin Bet, also the Mossad, really trying to get this across the line, although Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli Prime Minister, he is once again accused of blocking a deal, trying to put extra conditions in that may actually prevent it from happening, although his office says that these are mere necessary clarifications. Now, also in the region, we can tell you that one of Joe Biden's top envoys, that's Amos Hochstein, he was here in Tel Aviv. He's also been in Beirut trying to calm tensions amid this threat of an Iranian attack on Israel, which Tehran is promising for the assassination of the head of Hamas's Politburo, Ismail Haniyeh, which is being blamed on Israel, despite Israel not coming out to claim it. So certainly a very dangerous time in the region. And as for the last few days, what's been happening on the ground is this continued tit-for-tat rocket fire between Israel and Hezbollah in the north, and more demonstrations right around Israel, including here in Tel Aviv, as people demand the immediate release of hostages. In Tel Aviv, I'm Sarah Coates reporting for DD India.
British Foreign Secretary David Lammy and French Foreign Minister Stéphane Séjourné will travel to Israel to push for a Gaza ceasefire and a de-escalation in any wider conflict in the Middle East. The leaders will meet Israeli Foreign Minister Israel Katz and the Minister of Strategic Affairs Ron Dermer. The visit comes as a new round of Gaza hostage ceasefire talks was underway in Doha. The visit by the two leaders marks the first UK-France joint visit to Israel in more than 10 years. Britain and France are calling for a diplomatic solution to achieve ceasefire in Gaza and restore peace along the Israeli-Lebanese border. Israeli military spokesperson Daniel Hagari said on Thursday that the military had eliminated more than 17,000 Hamas terrorists in Gaza since the start of the conflict. The IDF spokesperson in a press conference said that IDF's significant fighting and achievements harm Hamas's ability to regroup and recover.
כוחות צה"ל ממשיכים להילחם בעזה.
Israeli Defense Forces troops continue to fight in Gaza, operating in Rafah, Khan Yunis, the central Gaza Strip, and are striking everywhere. So far, we have eliminated over 17,000 terrorists. As part of the significant field achievements, in the last week, we dismantled approximately 50 underground tunnels in the area of Philadelphia Corridor. We are focused on locating, neutralizing, and destroying underground infrastructure in the area.
You're watching DD India Live. We're heading for a short break, but after the break, US, Brazil and Colombia call for fresh elections in Venezuela after international condemnation of last month's disputed presidential polls. 5 people, including 2 doctors, charged in death of Friends actor Matthew Perry. Typhoon Ampel lashes eastern Japan, forcing evacuations.
On Voice of the Global South this week, why is Hindu phobia on the rise around the world? Is it time the world acknowledged anti-Hindu hatred just as it does anti-Semitism? Iraq plans to lower the age of marriage for girls to 9. India's first sunken museum showcases centuries-old treasures. Tune in at 7 p.m. IST, 13:30 GMT on Saturday, 17th August, only on DD India.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India Live. Let's get you more updates. As war of words intensifies in US elections, both Republican and Democratic candidates are using innovative jargons to provoke ideas and consolidation in their favors. Trump portrays himself as a defender of the Western civilization, while Harris targets corporate greed. Up next is a report by Akhilesh Suman.
On Thursday in New Jersey, U.S. Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump presented himself as a defender of the Western civilization. He was speaking at a Jewish donors event. Trump further blamed Biden-Harris administration of violence the Jewish people are facing.
Kamala Harris is the candidate of the forces who want to destroy Western civilization, but most particularly Israel and Jewish people. And I'm the candidate of those who want to defend Western civilization, defend Israel, and defend the United States of America.
The Democrats, on their part, are targeting Republican leaders on issues such as Biden's signature Inflation Reduction Act. Democratic presidential candidate Kamala Harris and U.S. President Joe Biden accused Trump of supporting corporate greed and utter disregard of the need to curb inflated prices of essential medicines. They were on first joint appearance in a rally after nomination of Harris as the presidential candidate.
Why are prescription drugs so expensive? I will tell you. Well, one big reason is for years, Big Pharma has often inflated the price of life-saving medication, often charging many times what it would cost to make just to increase their profits. And millions of Americans have suffered as a result.
Not a single Republican voted for this bill, period. Not one in the entire Congress. Now, the reason I say it is not to make a political point about them, if they've gotten their lesson, but guess what? They want to, the guy we're running against, what's his name? Donald Dump or Donald, whatever. They want to get rid of this, what we passed. They're fighting to get rid of what we've just passed. No, I'm serious.
In the United States, the election campaign is sure to get more shriller and nastier as November 5th approaches. Focus will remain on the respective viewpoints and opinions of both the leaders on issues that continue to be in public discourse, be it inflation in the US or conflicts in various parts of the world. Akhilesh Suman's report for DD India.
Even after results are out, problems of Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro do not seem nearing an end. Countries one after another are coming out in the open asking for fresh elections in the Latin American country. But interestingly, both Maduro and the opposition are not ready for another poll. The latest in the series to raise question on Maduro is Brazil's President Lula da Silva. He has suggested new elections in presence of international observers as solution to the stalemate. He also suggested coalition government as one of the solutions.
If we have a result and this result is feasible, we will try to find out the following. Maduro still has 6 months in office. His term only ends in January next year. So he is the president of the republic, regardless of the election. So if he has common sense, he could try to call to the people of Venezuela and perhaps even call new elections, establish criteria for the participation of all candidates.
O que eu não posso é ser precipitado e tomar uma decisão.
Within hours, the proposal was supported by US President Joe Biden. Mexico and Colombian presidents have already asked for the same. However, both Maduro and the opposition leader, Maria Corina, ruled out the suggestion. She has said that election has already happened, but she was ready for any mediation, and the Election Commission should publish the tally. Maduro, on the other hand, rejected call for new elections and showed no inclination to allow review of the election results. Paetongtarn Shinawatra has been chosen to be Thailand's next Prime Minister, days after her predecessor was removed by the Constitutional Court. The 37-year-old becomes Thailand's youngest leader and the fourth member of her family to hold the country's top post. East Asia correspondent William Denslow gets us more.
The majority of members of parliament in Thailand have approved Paetongtarn Shinawatra to be the country's next prime minister. She's never served in office before, but the family name is certainly well known on the political landscape in Thailand. Her father, Thaksin Shinawatra, is a former prime minister himself and still looms large over Thai politics. He is still regarded as a deeply divisive, deeply polarizing character on the Thai political scene. He only returned to the country around a year ago after a prolonged period in self-imposed exile. This is just the latest chapter in what has been a tumultuous time in Thai politics, with the Constitutional Court very much at the heart and centre of it. Just a few weeks ago, they moved to dissolve an opposition Move Forward party after their attempts to amend a defamation law in the country. And then just a few days ago, they ruled in a 5-4 decision to remove Shinawatra's predecessor, Srettha Thavisin, from the role of Prime Minister, accusing him of grossly violating ethical standards because one of his cabinet picks had a criminal record. Shinawatra now has the unenviable task of bringing a degree of unity to what has been an incredibly divisive period in Thai politics, and also to try and get a spluttering economy moving again. William Denslow in Hong Kong reporting for DD India.
Sweden has confirmed its first case of the viral infection MPox on Thursday, which was also the first case outside Africa. This comes a day after the World Health Organization declared the disease a global public health emergency for the second time in 2 years. Health and Social Affairs Minister Jakob Forssmed told the press conference that we have one case in Sweden of the more grave type of MPox, the one called Clade 1. Wigzell said the person was infected while staying in a part of Africa and had received care and instructions in line with the health agency's recommendations.
We have
also had confirmation that we have one case in Sweden of the most serious type of MPox, the one called Clade 1. This is something we take seriously. At the same time, this is a job that our healthcare and the regional infection prevention agencies can and have worked out routines and systems in order to handle. The Public Health Agency is coordinating the work at a national level and has a close dialogue with the regional infection control units.
Folkhälsomyndigheten samordnar.
Typhoon Ampil lashed parts of eastern Japan with strong winds on Friday and dumped heavy rain on the greater Tokyo area, flooding some streets, forcing evacuations and causing widespread disruptions to businesses and travel. Hundreds of flights grounded and were advised nearly 10,000 households to evacuate in some areas as Typhoon Ampil brought heavy rains and strong winds to the region. Torrential rains caused power blackouts in middle of a major summer holiday week. Ampil is forecast to move north along Japan's east coast before swerving eastward on Saturday away from the country and into the Pacific. DD India correspondent William Denslow spells out more.
The Japanese Meteorological Agency, they say that this is a very strong typhoon. They say it's on par at the moment to a Category 2 hurricane. They are urging residents in impacted areas to be vigilant of strong winds, rain and strong waves as well. It's estimated that in some regions, including the Japanese region of Kanto, there could be around 300 millimeters of rain to fall in a 24-hour period. Also, a warning that wind gusts could broach over 130 miles per hour. So even though this typhoon isn't expected to make landfall, there are serious concerns for some members of the public in impacted areas. That is why we're already seeing travel companies making precautions, trying to really stave off those threats, especially from the high winds and rains that are expected over the next couple of days. According to Japan Airlines, nearly 200 domestic flights have already been cancelled for Friday. Over 30 international flights. ANA, another airline, have cancelled over 200 flights, and some bullet train services have been suspended too.
In a major development in Friends star Matthew Perry's death case nearly a year ago, 2 doctors and 3 others, including a personal assistant to the actor, have been charged with supplying with ketamine, the powerful sedative that caused his overdose death. Each defendant played a role in falsely prescribing, selling or injecting the ketamine that led to the actor's death. According to the authorities, one of the accused, Jasween Sangha, also known as Ketamine Queen, sold the doses that killed Perry from her stash house in North Hollywood, while the other accused, Salvador Plasencia, distributed it to Perry and his personal assistant, Kenneth Iwamasa. Now, authorities also said that Plasencia obtained ketamine from Dr. Mark Chavez, whereas the 5th person charged was Eric Fleming, who obtained the ketamine from Ketamine Queen and distributed 50 vials of it to Perry's personal assistant. That's it in this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those of you on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. This app is available on both Android and iOS platforms, and you can download the respective QR codes. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Preeti Kaur signing off, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.